In every human relationship, intimacy and connection are the invisible threads that bind individuals together, fostering a sense of closeness, trust, and mutual understanding. In lesbian relationships, these elements often take on unique shapes and layers, shaped not only by personal dynamics, but also by broader social, cultural, and historical contexts. Understanding intimacy and connection in lesbian relationships is a crucial part of the ongoing LGBT series that aims to shed light on the complexities of queer love and partnership, offering a deeper, more authentic exploration of how lesbian couples experience emotional, physical, and relational closeness. Too often, lesbian relationships are misrepresented or underrepresented in mainstream media, with intimacy either sensationalized for entertainment or overlooked altogether. This lack of visibility and nuance not only distorts public perception, but can also leave many within the community without meaningful or accurate reflections of their own experiences. At its core, intimacy in lesbian relationships is about vulnerability and emotional resonance. It is found in the unspoken moments, shared glances, supportive gestures, deep conversations, and mutual respect that characterize a bond between women who love women. While the outside world may project its own assumptions, rooted in gender norms, heteronormativity, or even fetishization, the reality is far more multifaceted. Lesbian couples often build relationships that prioritize emotional safety, equality, communication, and empathy, creating a strong foundation where love can flourish beyond societal expectations. This is especially important in a world where many queer individuals grow up without adequate representation or support, which makes the intimacy they later cultivate all the more profound and intentional. Understanding connection in lesbian relationships also involves recognizing how these bonds are often shaped by resilience. Coming out, facing discrimination, or overcoming internalized fears can create barriers to vulnerability. Yet many lesbian couples navigate these challenges together, emerging with stronger emotional ties. These shared experiences can forge deep solidarity and trust, qualities that form the bedrock of lasting connection. Moreover, lesbian relationships are not monolithic. Just like any other partnership, they are diverse in expression, shaped by race, culture, age, background, and individual personalities. That diversity is not a limitation, but a strength, revealing the many ways love, support, and intimacy can be expressed and sustained. This series aims not only to break down misconceptions, but also to celebrate the beauty of lesbian intimacy and connection in all its forms: romantic, emotional, physical, and spiritual. It offers space for authentic voices, lived experiences, and the nuances that are often ignored in broader conversations about love and relationships. In any meaningful relationship, emotional intimacy is the glue that holds everything together. It's not just about love, attraction, or shared goals. It's about being able to show up fully as yourself, emotionally raw and honest, and still being held with acceptance and care. In lesbian relationships, emotional intimacy often takes on an even deeper significance. Why? Because many queer women have spent years navigating identity in a world that doesn't always reflect or validate their experiences. When they find someone who not only understands that journey, but also shares it, the emotional connection formed can be nothing short of transformative. Emotional intimacy is the ability to be vulnerable without fear. It's the quiet comfort of knowing your partner sees you, not just your surface, but the messy parts, the fears, the dreams you're scared to say out loud, and chooses to love you anyway. For many lesbian couples, especially those who have faced societal rejection or familial alienation, emotional safety becomes the cornerstone of connection. It's what makes trust possible. It's what makes love sustainable. In fact, emotional intimacy often precedes physical intimacy in these relationships, serving as the groundwork where real closeness begins. One powerful aspect of emotional intimacy in lesbian partnerships is the mutual understanding that can arise from shared gender experiences. Two women in a relationship may already have a natural empathy for what it means to move through the world as a woman, navigating expectations, emotional labor, vulnerability, and strength. This can foster a deep kind of attunement. Many lesbian couples report feeling emotionally synced not because they're the same, but because they both value connection, listening, and emotional reciprocity in ways that feel balanced and deeply respectful. Of course, emotional intimacy doesn't happen automatically. It's built, brick by brick, through conversations late at night, support during hard days, and the ability to hold space for each other's trauma and healing. It grows when one partner notices the other's silence and asks, "What's on your mind?" Or when difficult conversations aren't avoided but approached with care and honesty. It thrives in environments where emotional needs are not dismissed as too much or too sensitive, but are honored and embraced as vital pieces of the relationship. What's beautiful about emotional intimacy is that it doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes, it's as simple as being able to sit in silence together without discomfort, or remembering the small details that matter. It's checking in, following through, being present, even when it's inconvenient. In lesbian relationships, this emotional closeness often becomes a defining feature, a thread that weaves through every shared experience, whether joyful or painful. Challenging traditional gender roles. How lesbian relationships redefine intimacy and equality. Challenging traditional gender roles in relationships isn't just about shifting responsibilities, it's about questioning deeply rooted beliefs about what it means to love, care, and coexist with another person. In lesbian relationships, the absence of traditional male-female dynamics offers a unique opportunity to reimagine these roles entirely. Without the weight of societal scripts dictating who leads, who nurtures, or who carries the emotional load, lesbian couples often build their relationships on more fluid, intentional, and equitable foundations. Rather than adopting roles assigned by gender, partners in these relationships are free to shape their connection based on mutual understanding, communication, and personal strengths. This freedom fundamentally alters the way intimacy is experienced and expressed. In many heterosexual dynamics, emotional labor, the invisible effort of managing feelings, resolving tension, and nurturing closeness, is disproportionately performed by women. But in lesbian relationships, there's often a conscious effort to share that responsibility. It becomes a joint commitment to check in, hold space, and support one another. This balance doesn't just reduce burnout or resentment, it creates a deeper level of emotional intimacy, where both partners feel equally seen, valued, and heard. Decisions, from the mundane to the deeply personal, are made together rather than assigned through unspoken gendered expectations. What makes this dynamic even more profound is that it allows both individuals to step outside of limiting stereotypes. A partner can be soft and strong at the same time, nurturing yet assertive, emotionally open while also fiercely independent. There's no pressure to conform to the masculine or feminine role, because both people are empowered to express themselves authentically. This authenticity fosters a space where intimacy is not a performance, but a reflection of real, evolving connection. The relationship becomes not a tug-of-war over power or identity, but a dance of mutual respect and shared emotional labor. This redefinition of roles also encourages more conscious communication. Because there's no preset path, partners are often more proactive in discussing boundaries, responsibilities, and desires. This intentionality helps prevent the kind of emotional misalignment that can occur when assumptions go unspoken or needs are suppressed. In this way, lesbian relationships often model a kind of emotional intelligence and equality that challenges the norm and offers a healthier blueprint for any couple, regardless of gender or orientation. Of course, this doesn't mean lesbian relationships are without their own complexities or conflicts. No relationship is perfect. But by rejecting traditional gender roles, these couples often face those challenges with more flexibility and collaboration. Navigating visibility and identity. Intimacy in lesbian relationships is shaped by the challenges of social stigma, coming out, and being visible in a heteronormative society. These external pressures can influence how partners connect emotionally and physically, often leading to a deeper bond formed through shared resilience and understanding. In lesbian relationships, love doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's not just about two people finding each other. It's about navigating the world together as a couple whose existence still challenges social norms. The journey toward intimacy is deeply intertwined with visibility and identity. From the moment a lesbian couple walks down the street hand in hand, there's a silent negotiation happening between their desire to be authentic and the reality of potential judgment, discomfort, or even danger. Being seen isn't always simple. In a society that often assumes heterosexuality as the default, the simple act of being visible becomes both political and personal. Coming out is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. Whether it's introducing a partner at work, facing family expectations, or dealing with casual assumptions in daily conversation, lesbian couples are often put in the position of having to explain, defend, or navigate their identity repeatedly. This constant push and pull can affect intimacy in both subtle and profound ways. For some, the lack of public recognition may lead to a stronger private bond, a shared world of safety and understanding built behind closed doors. For others, it may create tension or emotional distance if one partner feels more ready to be open while the other remains cautious. And yet, within these challenges lies a unique kind of closeness. Lesbian partners often share not only romantic love, but also the lived experience of being othered by society. That shared resilience, the ability to withstand external pressure while still choosing each other, becomes a deep foundation for trust and connection. It's not uncommon for lesbian couples to become each other's emotional anchor, a safe space where identity is not questioned, but celebrated. That kind of intimacy, forged under the weight of societal resistance, can be incredibly powerful. Navigating identity within a relationship also opens the door to important conversations about self-expression, labels, intersectionality, and growth. One partner may be proudly out, while the other might still be exploring her place in the LGBTQ+ spectrum. One might be more masculine presenting, the other more fluid or androgynous. The beauty of lesbian relationships is that they often leave room for this evolution. Partners support each other not just in loving who they are today, but who they're still becoming. And that is one of the most profound expressions of intimacy. Being loved not in spite of change, but through it. The role of communication in connection. Strong communication is key to fostering intimacy in lesbian relationships. Whether discussing boundaries, desires, or emotional needs, lesbian couples often develop a high level of emotional literacy and active listening, which enhances connection and reduces misunderstandings. Communication is often called the backbone of any relationship, but in lesbian partnerships, it becomes something even more essential, a lifeline to emotional safety, understanding, and authenticity. Without traditional gender roles dictating how each partner is supposed to behave, lesbian couples often build their emotional connection from the ground up, relying on clear, intentional, and honest communication to co-create a relationship that works for both people. This need to actively define roles, expectations, and emotional responsibilities encourages a level of dialogue that can be far deeper and more emotionally intelligent than many conventional relationship models allow. From the very beginning, communication in lesbian relationships can feel different. Many queer women grow up in environments where their desires or identities are either misunderstood or silenced. So when they enter a relationship where both partners share similar experiences of marginalization or identity exploration, there's often an unspoken understanding, a deep desire to be truly heard and seen. This encourages a kind of mutual emotional literacy, where both individuals not only express their needs, but also learn to validate and hold space for their partners. It's not just about talking, it's about truly listening. Whether it's setting boundaries, exploring sexuality, or processing emotional baggage, lesbian couples often engage in regular and reflective conversations that aim for mutual clarity rather than power dynamics. There's a shared awareness that assuming roles based on gender doesn't work here. So instead, they ask, "What do you need? How do you feel? What makes you feel safe, seen, loved?" These questions become a cornerstone of intimacy, not only in romantic terms, but in how conflict is managed, affection is expressed, and trust is built over time. This focus on communication also strengthens the emotional ecosystem of the relationship. It helps prevent misunderstandings from festering into resentment, and it allows for the kind of transparency that makes long-term connection sustainable. For example, in navigating challenges such as coming out, family dynamics, or past relationship trauma, lesbian couples often rely on emotional check-ins and shared vulnerability. These moments don't just solve problems, they deepen connection, build empathy, and reinforce the message, I want to understand you, not just love you. What's more, communication in lesbian relationships often encourages emotional growth on an individual level. Diverse expressions of love and intimacy. There is no single way intimacy is expressed in lesbian relationships. From quiet companionship and emotional presence to passionate romance and physical closeness, intimacy is diverse and deeply personal. Cultural, racial, and generational differences also shape how connection is experienced and expressed within the lesbian community. When it comes to love, there is no one-size-fits-all blueprint, and that's especially true in lesbian relationships, where intimacy blossoms in countless forms. The beauty of queer love lies in its refusal to conform, its ability to adapt, and its insistence on authenticity. For lesbian couples, intimacy isn't always about grand declarations or societal expectations. Sometimes it's the quiet moments, cooking together after a long day, sharing music that speaks the unsaid, or sitting in comfortable silence knowing you're safe in each other's presence. Love can be loud, messy, passionate, and electric. But it can also be subtle, grounding, and profoundly still. In lesbian relationships, the emotional connection is often just as, if not more, important than the physical one. Many partners build intimacy through deep emotional availability, listening without judgment, validating each other's experiences, and offering unwavering support through life's challenges. For some, intimacy means vulnerability, the courage to be seen in your rawest form. For others, it's about shared dreams, creative collaboration, or simply having someone who understands your silence. What makes it powerful is that it's always personal, shaped by the unique personalities, histories, and inner worlds of the people involved. Passionate romance and physical closeness are just as vital for many lesbian couples, but even these are expressed in diverse ways. Some find intensity in sensuality, eye contact, and physical touch, while others experience closeness through gestures of care and acts of service. There's no rulebook, only a shared language of connection that each couple develops over time. The ability to rewrite the meaning of romance and love without heteronormative constraints allows lesbian partners to explore intimacy in ways that feel right for them, rather than what's expected of them. Cultural, racial, and generational differences also deeply influence how intimacy is formed and expressed in lesbian relationships. In some cultures, public displays of affection are limited by social norms or safety concerns, leading couples to create their own private rituals of love, coded looks, shared glances, or tender words exchanged behind closed doors. For others, love is political, a bold act of defiance and visibility in spaces that have long erased or ignored queer relationships. The way an older lesbian couple expresses intimacy might differ from that of a Gen Z pair raised in more progressive environments. But each expression holds its own weight, its own truth, and its own beauty. As we reach the end of this exploration on understanding intimacy and connection in lesbian relationships, it becomes clear that intimacy, in its most authentic form, goes far beyond stereotypes or surface-level portrayals. It is rooted in shared truth, emotional vulnerability, and the daily work of building a relationship based on mutual care and respect. For lesbian couples, intimacy often unfolds not only in love's tender expressions, but in the resilience required to navigate a world that doesn't always make space for them. That resilience doesn't diminish the beauty of their connection, it deepens it. It creates bonds that are both powerful and intentional, formed not just in moments of joy, but in the strength it takes to be seen, to love openly, and to hold space for one another through uncertainty. Throughout this series, we've seen that connection in lesbian relationships is not defined by how they differ from heterosexual norms, but by how they reflect the deepest truths of human connection. Lesbian intimacy challenges traditional scripts and instead embraces co-created dynamics, partnerships built through listening, emotional labor, and equal care. This is often expressed through small, consistent acts of love, creating safe spaces for vulnerability, honoring each other's individuality, and growing together with empathy. These are not romantic cliches, they are the lived realities of many lesbian couples who choose, every day, to show up authentically for each other. Another key realization from this discussion is that visibility matters. When lesbian relationships are portrayed with depth, honesty, and diversity, it affirms the experiences of those who live them and educates those who don't. Representation not only validates personal identity, but it also challenges the limiting narratives that have long marginalized or misunderstood lesbian love. By offering real stories and perspectives, we open the door to greater understanding and empathy, which ultimately benefits all relationships, regardless of gender or orientation. Moreover, understanding intimacy and connection in lesbian relationships helps broaden the conversation about what love truly looks like in today's world. It reminds us that intimacy is not about gender roles or societal expectations, but about the commitment to show up, care, communicate, and evolve with another person. This awareness encourages everyone to look at their own relationships more deeply and ask, are we really seeing each other? Are we connecting with intention? Are we building something grounded in truth? In conclusion, lesbian intimacy is a celebration of authenticity, equality, and love beyond the lens of conventional norms. It is diverse, complex, and beautiful in ways that deserve recognition and respect. By understanding it more deeply, we not only enrich the narrative of LGBTQ+ relationships, but also enrich our collective understanding of what it means to connect as human beings.